Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I will be your host today. How's everybody doing? Hi, Henny. Oh, just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Love that song. Love it, love it. I used to have that album, Grover Washington. Christy!
Hey,
Hey!
I couldn't hear you, but I could see you on my laptop, and I know you were singing just the truth of that.
Hi, Donna. Welcome.
Donna, welcome in. Yeah, you look all warm and cozy and nice. I love the array going on. That's awesome.
It's a warm day, but I wore this to town and didn't feel like, you know, we had a I have a friend that's where I was 30 years ago,
Mhm.
and she's still at it and burning bridges.
Oh,
And so we were trying to help her out what we could, without getting too entangled.
right, right. How'd that go?
Okay, it just makes me sad,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of where I used to be.
Mm,
You know, you just you just can't. Some people just cannot do certain things and remain in a stable situation.
yeah.
I was one of those people,
Hmm.
for sure. Ooh, Lordy, it hurts.
Yeah.
Hurts my heart.
Yeah. Well, and
You
probably your
know.
soul, and I mean, just all of it. Pepper,
Yeah.
hello.
Hey, pup groomer, pup groomer. I can talk. I don't have marbles in my mouth. It just sounds like I do. Oh, my Lanta. So, how are you doing?
I'm good. I just got back from Ohio, so that's a 3.5 hour drive from where I'm at. And Michael is off to Baltimore, so he's headed
Okay.
on his way. And we had um, some really good things happen yesterday. He did tax.
Okay.
He thought we were going to have to pay in. We didn't. Um,
Oh,
so that was good. And we've kind of, just had a chance to kind of talk and make some decisions. So that's good too. Like it's
well, that's good.
good. Yeah,
That's good.
it's been beneficial. So yay.
Hello, Cosmic.
Hi, Cosmic.
So, is that better, you guys? Can you hear me a little better? I did some settings things. Hopefully that helped. Yes. Well, good. You know, that has to feel good.
It does, it's kind of like one of those, it was kind of a roundabout way to get there. Like some things kind of went sideways. And but because they did, we were able to kind of reevaluate where we were at and kind of
Okay.
figure some things out. So,
Good.
yeah, so I'm really excited about it, and I can go ahead and tell you part of it. So, when we were first married, I was on the road with Michael for 7 years, and we lived in hotels and cars and tents and the whole thing. I've shared that story. Um, so when we got here and we rented the place, we thought we were going to have the option to buy it. And that option ended up not being an option for us after all. So then we evaluated, do we really want to stay in Kentucky? Like, because it's not really a place either of us have huge ties. So what we decided was either like end of this year or sometime next year, we're going to buy, we call it a rock star tour bus RV motorhome. And
Yes.
I'm going to go on the road with him again. And so I'll be back on the road, which is actually really exciting. I've been here 3, almost 4 years just by myself. So I've been away from him. Like we've been married for 10 years. So I've been away from him just as much almost as I was with him, you know. And it's
Yeah.
hard to have a good, healthy marriage. Hold on. Hey, get a hold of yourself and straighten up. Sorry. I
It's okay.
the fire the propane's out in the back room, and so I'm here in the living room, but they're wallering around. So but yeah, so it gives me a chance to go back on the road with him and travel, which I love to do, and see a lot of different places, and just kind of, get back to being married. It's really hard to be married when you just see
Yeah.
somebody a couple of times a year for maybe a
Yeah.
month, and
Yeah.
so even though the house thing was really sad, we we definitely figured something else out. You too, get a hold of yourselves. They've been in the car for 3.5 hours. I'm sorry, they're really excited to just not be.
Did they do okay in the car?
Does great. Sweetie gets a little car sick at first, and then she just kind of
Okay.
sleeps. So, it's like at
Yeah.
that point, I mean, if it were me, I would just want to get home. So, um, Marky Rizzo, hello.
Hello.
So yeah, so it was a good visit. All in all, got to kind of figure some things out, and so yeah. So, fun.
Well, yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is a nice unit. It does save us a lot in energy. We we do very well with our electric bill, and but also it has a setting to where it'll kick in the furnace. We have an old furnace, but if which burns propane because we're out in the country. Okay, well well I guess we did because the payments are you know they're
They reflect it.
they're not, they reflect something. Yeah. But yeah, and with a heat pump, I don't know. I can't keep it. I have trouble getting warm below 74.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm shaken up. I gotta confess.
Just because of your friend.
Steve, yeah, Steve didn't want to go by himself, and I kept trying to figure out a way that he could drop me off and I could back out.
Right.
Haven't,
Oh.
and it wasn't bad. It's just hard.
Mhm. Like just
It's
because
just
of their
hard.
mental state or the state of like their home or
Just
the whole
yeah, just the state of not being able to, you know, keep anything stable going. Like I said, just like I was when I was, 30 years ago when I was out there
now does
doing
this,
what I was doing and not making a correlation between
yeah,
that and where I was,
right, right.
and not really able to because of mental illness, you're too busy surviving from one crisis to the next,
Yeah, yeah.
but I had a really hard time after giving birth, you know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it just took me getting sober 2 years later to get right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hello, plant freak.
Hello.
Stay here instead of pushing for the island after the bridge was closed. I think it was a good choice. Good. So yeah,
Does this
I
person
don't know.
want help or are they just in the throes of,
They're just in it. They're just in the throes and have been. That's exactly where I would have been had I been able to survive it.
right?
I wouldn't have survived it though because I was in a pretty severe, like I'd go to a medical appointment and I'd see the scared look on people's faces, wondering like, should we call somebody and have them take her in somewhere? Yeah, and I could see it, and I'd be like, yeah, no, don't do that.
Mhm.
I could answer, like I actually had one ask me, well, why don't you want to go to a facility? And I'd be, well, I don't want to be stuck in a place inside all the time staring up at fluorescent lights, and I don't want some psychiatrist playing God with my life.
Mhm.
And they're like, well, okay.
Mhm.
So what do you do when you can answer with a
Right.
straight answer that's coherent and cohesive and
Right. Right.
you know and emphatic,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to hurt myself, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. So not much they can do. It's hard to watch, I'm sure, but don't blame you for being shook up at all. Yeah, you know, it's just the further away, the more I get into like these meetings, and we're
Mhm.
doing, and we're here for some kind of recovery or another, and we're just
Mhm.
here to support each other.
Mhm.
And the more that gives me a perspective
Yeah.
on where I have come from,
Yeah.
the harder it is when I see my friends still,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, because you, like you said, you have perspective now, and you can see the situation for what it is, and that's got to be difficult too, you know, seeing that, and I would think on some level, knowing, having the knowing, um,
Yeah,
is um,
it is, Tara. Yeah, yeah. I wish there was something more that I could do, and it really is hard to know if they were to, leave off certain things, you know, if they would be able to stay on a more stable path. But I don't know. I don't know if that would have been the case for me, but I know this, it was not going to be possible at all
right.
as long as I was drinking and doing drugs. And it's not what she's doing. Her path is a little different, but
Mhm.
let's just say she's close to where I was 30 years ago, you know.
Do you feel like there's anything that you could say or invite her to a meeting that might help, or is that just she's just not receptive and it would hurt
Y-
you more?
Well, she thinks that what she has going on is helping her,
Oh, okay. Oh,
and so if that's what, you know, if that's what they think they need to maintain,
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
where do you have an end for approaching it?
sure. Of course. Yeah, that's a good point. Mm.
The connection has brought up some internal confusion, but I'm trusting the universe and I have no space for more than recharge my battery. Yeah, no space for anything else. Anyway,
Yeah.
Lordy, I'm sorry to be a bummer, y'all. I don't mean
No,
to.
no, no. It's very
I
I was
think
talking to
so.
some, yeah.
I think so. I do. I think that's part of it, but I think that they could also better help that, were they to,
Mm.
decide to leave off certain parts of their day to day existence. But I can't say for sure,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
no. I mean, no, no.
Yes, plant. That's exactly it. She's still stuck in the loop. I remember feeling that exactly. Pot was my managing, and no one could tell me otherwise. Well, you know what? That is amazing that somehow or another you got off of the loop. Yeah, that is such a good word for it. You're not being a bummer. These Meats are just as much for you as they are for the rest of us. Yeah. I've had something every day this week.
It's
It feels like.
but I mean, it's just kind of the energy too, you know. I mean, we did just have a full moon, so there is that too.
Okay. Yeah, and it was so cloudy you couldn't get any light benefit from it at night.
Yeah. No. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and when I was driving back, and they're saying, you know, sometimes when you get out of the loop, as Stasia put it, when you get out of the loop and you start healing yourself, and you see your progress and where you've come and where you really were, as opposed to where you thought you were.
yeah,
Um, it really is difficult when you see that, because it's like you can't ever unsee it, you know, and you
yeah.
see it in other people, and it does hurt your heart and it does hurt your soul, because you know you can see something that they can't, and just that knowing is difficult, you know, sometimes
Yeah,
just knowing what the road ahead looks like. I mean, it's kind of like being a parent or something like that. Like you
yeah,
see what the road looks like,
yeah,
and you try to advise, and then at some point, you know, you have to say, okay,
yeah.
you know, this is what I can do for you, and I will. And prayers, good vibes, thoughts, you know, all of those things, they matter.
Hmm. Yeah,
uh, they really do. And sometimes, I mean, that's powerful. I don't want to say that's all we can do, because that is a powerful thing to put out to the universe, you know,
yeah.
help my friend. Just, you know, um,
I have a close friend who is stuck in the loop. We got in a fight last week and now we're not talking. Makes me feel really sad. I think substance misuse and mental health is the problem. Yeah, yeah,
well,
and
and
yeah,
mental health issues are so difficult to navigate, you know.
yeah,
There's a lot that goes with that part alone, and you add addiction on top of it, and I mean it's
yeah,
kind of, I can understand
yeah.
where that
You
can
know, and
feel volatile.
that's the best thing you can do, Tara. You know, they say, you know, oxygen mask on yourself first before you help the person next to you.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Hmm.
the best thing that you can, I guess, the best thing that I can do to help anybody is just to keep what I know keeps the oxygen going.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you're really doing a lot. First of all, hello, TK for life. Glad to see you here. Um,
Yes.
you know, and it's true, and you are keeping your oxygen going, but you're also providing support and a platform for other people. So it's kind of not like you're over here just wringing your hand like, oh no, oh no. I mean, you know, you're providing a space, you're
Yeah.
offering your wisdom, you're sharing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's that in itself, you know, is such an amazing thing to do, really, you know,
Yeah.
to give people a chance to come and and share what they're feeling about, and how they're feeling.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, I suppose it's never too late in life to make a good decision
Mhm.
on that front, but
Mhm.
you kind of have to wonder, like, you just who I don't know. I could go in my
Yeah,
own little loop all day with it.
yeah, yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. You know, it at some point, you know, age and life experience comes in, and you know, I get it. Hi, Rolling Stone.
Hi, Kristen Melinda. Hi, Rolling Stone. Yeah, you're
Hello.
not late. You're just in time. In a deep in a nap when my needing a meeting alarm went off. Had to bring in the wood before dark to make coffee. Then my darn computer wouldn't boot up, but I
Oh,
made it. I am so happy you're here, Rolling Stone.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Nice, nice.
Self care comes before helping anyone else. That's the truth.
Mhm.
And, as sucky as that is sometimes,
Mhm. And it seems very counterintuitive too,
it
like I
does.
always think of it this way. If you're a parent and you've got your child sitting next to you, or you're just an adult and there's someone more fragile next to you, whether it's an older person or whatever, you want to help them first, you know,
Yeah,
and because you know the state that they're in. But even if you did help them, if you weren't there, like you could help them maybe survive what was going on the plane. But if you didn't survive it, then you wouldn't be able to help them after the fact.
sure, sure.
And so it seems very counterintuitive to do it that way. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle with
Yeah.
that. But it's so important, to,
And all I can do is I can hope for that little bit of a crack where I might get to ask the
yeah,
right question
yeah,
to get
yeah.
a thought process going.
Mhm. Yeah. And, I mean, you can manifest that, journal about it. If you start thinking about it and you start putting it out there, I would love this opportunity to blah, 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 whatever that looks like, it might manifest itself. I believe things happen that way, just by
Yeah.
thinking about things. And my granny used to say that all the time. She's like, I wanted you to call me, so I started thinking about you, and the next thing you know, I'm on the phone when she was alive, like, hey granny. So I think there's something to it. At least there was for my granny. So there you go. Could be a way in for you.
TK'd for life. I've been frustrated with the amount of things I've gotten done today. My office closet is clean, but it's my desk that needed it the most. But there are papers that I'm sure I don't want to deal with. You know what? Sometimes the best way to get to where you want to get to is do those other areas. That's kind of how things seem to work for me too. Like
Mhm.
I see something that's bugging me, but I'll end up cleaning out a drawer or not, and something else. Eventually, it does come around to what was bugging me,
Mhm.
but it's I don't know why. It's a weird little mental thing, I guess. Oh man. And we cannot make them drink. That's true. Unfortunate but true.
But TK for life, you know what? You did get your office closet clean. So that's awesome.
That's something.
Go you. That's
Yeah.
great. So, little victory, right? Take the little victories. Kind of gives you the stamina for the bigger ones, which would be the desk. You should see my office. It's really in bad shape right now.
You know, and I just thought of something too, like when I was in that same situation where I was going from couch to couch to couch to car to, you know,
Mhm.
new couch to car to, you know, you do certain things that you do in the way of, abusing substances to help kind of blur out that line of
Mhm.
how things are, and it is a vicious cycle once you get to where you don't have a place of your own and you're having to rely on other people to not be out in the elements.
Yeah.
And it's like I tried when I was a few weeks sober, and I tried to go dumpster diving, and I thought this isn't the same when I'm not drunk, you
Mhm.
know, or I'm not
Mhm.
high. It's just
Mhm.
not the same. I can't make myself do it now. So that
Mhm.
was that was revelatory. That was very
Yeah.
telling.
Yeah. Now, what were you dumpster diving for? Just for
I don't
the
know, just whatever I could see or
whatever.
find, or yeah. I
Mhm.
used to feel like I found a lot of good stuff in dumpsters, but did I?
Right.
I don't hear the same thing. This is why I make lists. I need to work on my resume, but chose to work on my channel. Well, that might be a good thing too, TK'd for life. You know,
Mhm.
I feel like there's a method to my madness. It eventually gets done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it doesn't look the same, but I do that with my kitchen. I hate doing dishes. I hate it. And it's the last thing I always do. Like when I walk in my kitchen and I know it needs cleaned, I know it's the dishes that need done. But I inevitably pick up a garbage bag and I start, taking out the trash and changing the trash can. The dishes are always the very last thing. And I think it's just because for me, I have to kind of work myself up to it. I
Yeah,
really
I get
do.
that. I
Like,
totally get that.
and it's probably the same thing, TK, that you're just like mentally, but you know, but hey, we're here for you for the
Yes,
little victories. You know
yes.
what? We'll make you feel really great about those, and then when you get to the desk, we'll put on Mama's tiara, right?
Yeah. There's no better motivation to do a hated task than to have a more hated task on the rise. So true, Rolling Stone. I'm just waiting for the house to be quiet and I'll pop on. Okay, Cosmic.
Cool. Awesome.
All righty. Very cool. Very cool. I do need to celebrate stuff. Yes. There you
Mhm.
go. I do need to celebrate stuff I did do. Just want a few things to stop hanging over my head.
Mhm.
I understand. Carol, was there something to make you change? I think everyone has their moment of clarity and change. Well, I really didn't have a moment of clarity telling me that I needed to change. I got forced into it.
Mhm.
I got dropped off in the middle of downtown San Diego in front of a shelter and a Catholic charity shelter. And I went in and they sent somebody in to do a kind of an intake with me. And I had been R'd the night before, so maybe I was a little more open, from a situation like that. And when I didn't say that that's what had happened to me, but I did ask for a pair of clean underwear.
Mhm.
And the girl was young, and she said, "Would you excuse me for a minute?" And she went away for quite a while. And when she came back, she had two trolley tickets, one for a trip there and a trip back, and said, and gave me a thing with the stop that I needed to make, and said, consider this your overnight pass. I guess a bed had opened up, and
Mhm.
to stay here overnight. And you're to go to this place here. This is the house number. It was a
Mhm.
house that they'd made into a ministry type thing, not a. It was like a Lutheran type, you know, but they had
Right.
like clothes for people. They
Mhm.
took in donations to help people with clothes for job interviews. They just it was a real networky type of thing,
Mhm. Mhm.
and they had social workers. And my case, she said, you're to talk to this person at this place at this time,
Mhm.
and if she recommends you for a 30-day stay, then you can do that. And so I took the trolley pass, got off on the stop. She was very good at giving the instructions, and
Mhm.
my poor little addled brain needed just how she gave them to me.
Right.
Very clear, very hard to miss.
Right.
And the caseworker did say, I will recommend you for a 30-day stay, but these are the conditions. You have to do chores there, and I
Mhm.
have to have a thing that's where it's been signed off that you did your chore,
Mhm. Mhm.
work with them on what the chores to be, and at the shelter, in other words. And
Mhm.
you have to go to, I'm not going to make you do 90 meetings in 90 days of AA or NA, but I am going to make you do 3 meetings a week and recommend that you do as many more than that as you can.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so the only way that the clarity came is just, I'm in a shelter where you get caught when you drink or use, because that's what everybody was telling me. You better not drink here, you better not use, even if you just go out to all the way to one of the beach towns and it, and take the bus back, they will know that you've been drinking and that you've been using. Somebody will tell on you and you will get kicked out. And I was so scared of getting kicked out that
Yeah.
I, that so I was not drinking, I was not using, and I was going to meetings. And, eventually it started dawning on me that I'm hearing a story that sounds a lot like mine. Oh,
Mhm.
and there's another one. Huh.
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know, and uh, eventually came a process where my moment of clarity was that I realized that I was pretty close to death's door. You can only survive on coffee and cigarettes and cookies and drinking day in and day out for so long,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
being run ragged, being homeless,
Mhm.
you know.
Well, and
So
that takes a toll on your mind and body
it
and soul.
does.
Anyway,
It
just
does.
being
It does.
like
It does.
throw the mental illness and the addiction part of it aside. That in itself is quite a thing, you know?
When our kids were little, my sister and I used to trade houses and do each other's housework. It's so much easier to do someone else's stuff. Yes, it is. It's been years since I've been able to clean someone else's house, but it's so true. It's so much easier to tackle someone else's.
Yeah.
You've come so
Yeah.
far, Carol. You are inspirational for sure. I wonder if I will make it to 30 years in recovery. Then I have to remind myself it's one day at a time. And that's how I've been doing it for 30 years. I can't tell you what tomorrow's going to bring, but for today, I'm not going to a liquor store. For one thing, it's Sunday and you can't buy liquor in this county on Sunday. So there's that. That helps. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it does. I live in a dry county too, which I didn't know they even still had until I
Yeah.
moved to the south. And I
So
was like,
the Bible Belt.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, wait,
gotcha.
that's a
That's
thing?
a thing. It's a thing.
I came from Colorado. You can get anything
Well,
you want in
yeah.
Colorado.
Welcome to the Bible Belt, honey.
Yeah. And I heard this very brimstone and fire preacher on the radio every Sunday. So I would tune in just to make sure he hadn't had a heart attack from preaching because of the way he carried on. I was like, I gotta make sure the dude is still alive. And like I didn't really pay attention to what he said, but I mean, woo! I was like, gotta make sure to.
Here
But
you go,
yeah,
Christy. Swear word warning. I actually have a sign above my sink that says duck the dishes. If the parents are stopping by, I flip it over and it says the dishes are looking dirty at me again.
dishes are my thing. Like I can do anything else but dishes or my bedroom. You can tell how well my life is or isn't going based on how clean my bedroom is.
Listen to this. LOL, Tara. If I make it to 30 years in recovery, I will be 88 years old and I just might have a drink on my 90th birthday and party down.
Hi, Misha.
Plant Freak says I think many are forced into it. And I think it's the situation that gets us there that helps us see what we need to do. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Thank goodness.
Well, and I know mine wasn't drugs and alcohol, but with my eating, I was kind of, I mean, I wasn't forced into a facility, but I was definitely forced into a situation where um it got very real, and I think that that's part of um the knowing, the awakening, the understanding, whatever
Yeah,
it is. And
yeah.
um and I do think, and I was talking to someone else about this earlier. We were talking about karma, and you know um sometimes things just kind of have to happen, before you see things and make a change. And we never want anything to be really bad, but I do think we can pray for an opportunity to open up,
Yeah.
or manifest, whatever word. I'm sorry, I don't really know a great other word other than that, but you know.
I have a Tara says shelter life is what got me into recovery too. It was a rude awakening. It sure was. It was like, I'd be so mad at all the hoops I had to jump through during that 30-day stay. I had lived a pretty loosey goosey type of life, where
Mhm.
nobody was telling me what to do, and all of a sudden there's people telling me what to do, and I'd get this attitude like I don't have to do this dance, and then I'd
Mhm.
remember what the streets outside the walls of the shelter smelled like, and I'd think, oh, well, maybe I do. But that is a tough thing, coming out of a situation that's not, and then coming into a situation where it's super structured, and maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't even super structured, but it felt super structured,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
you know
Well, it probably was pretty structured. I mean, if you had to do
yeah,
chores and you had to do this
yeah.
and it but maybe the structure was part of what helped. I mean,
Epiphany, huh? Gonna try to record it here in a bit. Okay, all righty. I'll put a link up if you want to come in. Ooh,
yeah.
still jumping hoops. Okay, well, sometimes it gets there. Hi,
Hmm.
Cosmic. There she is.
Look at you.
Hey, God.
Oh, oof, karma. I'm afraid of TK for life. I'm afraid of all the bad karma I still have coming because of all the bad stuff I did on dope. Oh,
But I think that wasn't really you. I mean, did you make
that's
bad
right.
choices? Yes. But I don't really see that as like the universe is going to come and hijack your life. Like,
Yeah,
that was kind of, I think, in that sense, you were kind of paying as you went. You know what I mean? Like, you made a bad choice and it put you in a tricky situation. And the fact that you're out working on getting out, doing your journey. Like, please don't think that karma's going to come back and just, like
just
bonk you over the head. I think
yeah.
you worked through it as you went.
I don't think that's how
You're
karma
making
actually works.
good decisions pay
Yeah.
off, and you're
Mm-hmm.
making good decisions right now.
Right,
And
right.
so just concentrate on one good decision at a time.
Yeah.
At every moment you're at a juncture where you have this decision or this decision,
Hmm.
you know, and
Yeah.
yeah, it can feel like it's not a magic pill. Getting sober is not a magic pill. You're still going to have to work through some mess. You know,
Yeah.
it's it's and it's going to be messy at times. There's no avoiding it. There's no, but the point is that you're choosing now
Hmm.
not to
Yeah.
avoid it
Yeah.
by staying clean, staying sober, and yeah,
No, TK, transmissions are just very, very tricky, tricky parts of cars. I would not say that is karma in any way. That is just a lot of very small moving parts that just decided to, you know, um, uh, you know, I'm really sorry that your transmission did that. That's
yeah, yeah.
that
Mm.
that's tricky. But I don't think it's karma. I mean, cars are mechanical, they're gonna have problems. Please don't put that on yourself, that responsibility on your shoulders, because that's not where it is. Cars just, they do things like that. Um,
And yes, Tara, the inside of the shelters had their own choice smells. You can put somebody in a shelter, but you can't make them take a shower.
yeah, I
So I
could,
was very lucky. We had our own little units. We didn't have to be with other people.
Yeah.
So
There was
yeah,
four ladies to a room in mine. Yeah.
yeah. We had. I had my
It was a
kids. So
tiny room too. Woo.
yeah,
mm,
yeah.
Feel like the fact that my transmission is not under warranty should cover a bunch of bad karma because it's a big one. Ooh. I'm sorry. Oh, but who we are now, that is what matters, as
Mhm.
Awakened has said. Yeah. Karma, I think, as Christy said, as addicts, we pay as we go. Who we are now and how we cope now matters way more. You are so right, Stasia. I don't think there are any. Tara says, I don't think there are any magic pills. My meds definitely help, but I have to put a lot of work into. Yeah. Carol Christie, Rolling Stone. I have 6 weeks sober today. I had to tell
Yay!
23 times this morning before I got my trophy. So I do have the tiara here. Where'd she go? Where's Mama's
I'll
tiara?
give you the rodeo queen wave.
Oh, come
Oh, I
on.
was
Where's
watching
the
the
tiara?
the meeting yesterday. Do you know why the Queen waves like this? To stop her wrist from
It
hitting
takes a
carpal
lot more
tunnel.
to do this.
Yes. So it's
What way
like
to
this.
hear
So
you
it's just
that?
like
Oh,
Yeah, that's why. And they taught us like in rodeo,
I will be right
it's
back. I gotta
it's like
find this tiara.
it's wrist, wrist, elbow, elbow. You make a circle, and you can do this all day. But if you're
wrist,
doing
wrist,
this, it's gonna wear you
wrist,
out.
yeah, wrist,
Yeah,
elbow,
wrist,
circle,
wrist,
wrist, wrist.
elbow. So you just make a little circle. You just
And my hat hair. Just ignore the hat hair.
I've still got
That's
my
why
bed
that's
hair.
why we're wearing a hat is because we have hat hair.
I woke up at 7:35, so I'm just like,
But a Rolling Stone.
awesome.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
good. So
6
I need
weeks.
good.
one of those things that go,
Wow.
hoot.
Wow.
Yes, one of those. One of those.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Mama's tiara.
Yes.
To, and a bow to you for 6 weeks.
That's
Oh my
awesome.
God, that's so awesome.
Gotta, that's gotta feel really good too.
That's amazing.
Knowing that you got there. That's so
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. And TK, I'm so sorry that your transmission did that. I mean, cars are just a bugger, right? Like they're just uh
Down here. Yes.
they're just not fun.
You gotta wonder if the queen had said, like, can you please take the tiara off? It's a little bit heavy today.
Yikes. Cars just never stop costing us money. I'm sorry, TK'd for life. I am too.
Yeah.
Golly. We had 8 women in a jail cells as Awakened. At one point, the little ones with metal beds, toilet, sink, metal desk, 8 flippin' women. We do not smell like roses. We do not all smell like roses.
I love you, Nisha.
Hi,
Yeah.
Donna.
Hello.
Oops. Now I feel bad. Just made Carol do a bunch of stuff. Well, I knew it was around here somewhere.
Yeah, I missed saying hello, Donna, too, earlier. I was like saying goodbye to
Six
Mia,
weeks
and
is a long time. Those
yeah, six
those
weeks is
those
fine.
first weeks are the longest.
When you think about it, for us, 6 weeks is like the entire school holidays. So that's like a really terrified mum, or not a terrified mum, like, one of those mums who have to put up with their kids for 6 weeks going without. 6 weeks, that's a long
Yes.
time. 6 weeks without chocolate, 6 weeks without anything's a long time. So it's amazing.
It is. It is.
Yay, a Rolling Stone. That is
That's awesome.
awesome. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I just wanted to show you these bowls I got yesterday. Look how cute they are. It's like a watermelon.
I love
I
that.
love that.
That
And it
is
comes with a
adorable.
watermelon spoon.
That's
So
awesome.
my best friend loves watermelon, so I got that one for her.
Right
And I
on.
love lemons. I'm into anything lemon smelling or fresh and
Oh,
citrusy
right
and
on.
clean. And I got a
Yes,
lemon with a lemon
Oh,
spoon.
those are
right
precious.
on.
Yeah, I know,
Those
they're cute.
are
They're
adorable.
like $3.50. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get one of those. Two,
Yes.
actually.
Yes.
So yeah.
A Rolling
But yeah.
Stone, thank you for sharing this journey with us.
Yes.
Yes, yes. That's amazing. You look beautiful in that tiara with crown hair. Thank you, Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone, I remember the day, says Plant Freak, countdown. Remember the day countdown. You're on weeks, love. Yes, it was a day countdown. Now it's weeks. Pretty soon it's going to be months, and then it's
Yeah.
going to be years.
Hmm.
You know, one day at
Yeah.
a time.
That's
Had
why I quite
any?
like having my date on the 1st of January because I don't have to think about it. It's just like, what's the date? That's how long it
There you
was.
go. I love it. I love it.
Had,
I love it.
had anyone read the book Sweet Potato Queens? They have guy followers called Spud Studs. It's a hilarious book with lots of comfort food recipes. That sounds great.
I should, yes, I should read that. I love sweet potatoes.
I just realized there's a leaf in front of my camera. I was like, what is that? I moved my
And
stuff around yesterday.
and Misha loves you, Cosmic Crispy Christy. Cosmic Crispy.
Actually, my bestie calls me Crispy. That's her nickname.
Oh yes.
I actually have I have a tiny little oyster fork. I love tiny little things.
Right
Oh,
on.
that's
Have you
awesome.
ever seen those little nutmeg? They look like little cheese graters, like the big size ones, but they're for nutmeg. They're like this big, and you can just go. I just want one just for fun. I don't use nutmeg, but I just want
Right.
the grater. Just so I can go, look at my little grater. It's so
There you
cute.
go. That's awesome. Did you see Tara said on April 2nd she'll be celebrating 3 years? God, please
Years.
make it. I want to see that tiara again.
Yes,
We want to show it
absolutely.
to you.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I've been so busy for the last few weeks trying to catch up to my life for Rolling Stone. It really got away from me for quite a while. Yeah, has a way of doing that sometimes.
Yeah, it
I
does.
didn't get to my 14 year sober were it not for the first 6 weeks so brutal. It gets easier. Always with us, though. Yeah. Yeah, it never really fully ever goes away, but it does get easier. A Rolling Stone, I was a week ahead of you, then I had my blip and counting restarted. But you know what, though, TK for Life? You had some time,
Mhm.
and you don't have to erase that time. You know, you can start over and you can count your sober birthday however you want to, but don't think that those times that time that you got in was for nothing. You
Yeah.
did that for that amount of time. And
Mhm.
it takes what it takes, and each one of us has our own journey to get there. But you're doing it, and that's amazing.
Yeah. And don't take that away from yourself because, like Carol said, you earned
Absolutely.
that.
That
You
yeah,
know, it.
that time is not gone. You did that. You did that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I cannot wait to put the tiara on for Tara and Tara smiling in Tiara for Tara. that's a that's a tongue twister. life
Misha
life
just said
gets
she's having trouble reading the chat. So
Diana Riahi. I hope that I'm saying that right. Life gets away from us at times, Rolling Stone. It sure does.
Mhm.
And Awaken says, OMG, I have a funky tiny lobster fork. It is all by itself. Still, don't know what I'm going to do with it. It would match that watermelon bowl, though.
I actually have a soft
Wow.
toy lobster somewhere. It's probably in my cupboard of toys. So
Yeah, I'm glad you're still quitting, TK. I know you want it badly. Me too. And you're gonna get it.
Mhm.
Hmm 3 years is a great milestone. It's a magical milestone. It really is. I couldn't believe it when I
awesome.
got to 3 years. I could not believe it.
Mhm.
If you'd have told me 3 years to the day that I got sober that I would have been able to do it, I'd have thought you were out of your mind.
Yeah.
Not kidding. It's hard to see chat today. I can read the screen when they pull up, but can't even read my own typing. My grand princess does too. Aw. I've made 2 gallons of canna balm this week. I think I have a store that will sell it for me. I made up the cutest little 4-ounce jars. Okay. I use nutmeg in my eggnog. I want to see it. Never had eggnog. Mind you, I'm 14. I'm not at 14 now, but I'm working on it day by day. That's okay. That's it. All we can do day by day. That's all we can do. There's no more expected of us than that. And we don't have to put any other harder demands on ourselves. We don't have to beat ourselves up for where we missed it, where we, quote unquote blew it. It's all working for a higher purpose because you're here and you're clean today. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Don't discount. Yeah, that's it. Don't discount the 4 weeks I did. 100%. Why should you? There is no reason to discount it. It gets easier, but I still run into speed bumps from time to time. The big ones that cause the vehicle to catch air. Yes. Tiara for Tara. Tiara. Some say tiara. Some say
That's a
tiara.
fun tongue twister.
That is a tongue twister. Yes.
I had my first temptation, says this plant freak, put in front of me. Boundaries were trying to be bulldozed. Wow. Oh, I hate that. And I know it felt awful. Feeling of guilt of not being a good friend or rejection kicked in. Yep. I kicked them out. Good. Stayed here instead. Good. Good. That was a tough decision. I know it was.
Yeah. And so, Stasia, how did that make you feel when you enforced your boundary? Like, I know you said it was tough to kick, but like, how did you feel personally?
So the boundaries muscles getting worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you feeling now that you did go ahead and go through the mucky, uncomfortable, painful process of sticking to your boundaries,
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some relief. I hope there is. Sending love to the friends that I love that can't be with us today. Steve, Anik, Ben, Rebecca. Yes. Yes. Close enough. Carol. Seems the less letters in the last name, the harder it is to say. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. But I'm more than happy to pronounce it correctly. I'm with you, Henny. I hope they are all okay. I do too, a Rolling Stone. Thank you, Cosmic. It felt yuck that night, but next morning, yeah, I was very proud, and you should be. Yeah, I do. Look in my purse. Look, right by you, right by you. Sorry, hubby was asking for something. And I guess I have to get it out for him. Why can't you get it yourself?
Because I can't.
Okay.
I don't have any skills.
You need mad nunchuck skills to dig through a purse?
I do.
Well, Michael's the same way. He's like, nope, not getting in. I'm like, there's nothing in there you can't see. He won't do. If I ever wanted to hide anything from him, I'd just stick it in my purse and be like,
My kid won't go in my purse either. No one will go. And it's weird because if someone tells me to go in their purse, I'm like, because if I'm going to hide something, it's not going to be in my purse because what's the first thing people look through? Your purse. It's just like, I don't even keep my car keys in my purse. So,
yeah, I put mine on a hook when I'm on top of it. That's how I feel too. Didn't think I'd make it to 6 months. True story. I believe you.
glad you made it.
I believe you with all of my being.
And look at how
Mhm.
far you are now, almost 3
Almost
years.
3 years.
That's
We
awesome.
are.
That's
We are here.
fantastic. So good. Plant Freak,
Yeah.
the fact that you beat the temptation back is a great thing. It
I
is
agree.
such a great thing. Stasia, I'm very proud of you. TK for life. Oh yeah. Yeah. I hate who I am and what life brings when I am not sober. Life is so hard as it is, let alone all that comes otherwise. 100%. Yeah. Plant Freak. Thank you, Donna. I had been avoiding many social situations, afraid I wouldn't be able to. So now I proved to me that I don't need to avoid. So true. So proud of you, Stasia. Yeah, you got this, babe. Plant Freak. You do. You do got it.
Mhm.
Yes.
And can I just say the amount of growth that I've seen from everybody, like literally everybody just from where we were when we started this and we first got together to where I see everybody at now is just it's beautiful and it's amazing. And I hope you all can see how you've grown as much as like me sitting back on the other side can
Yeah.
see growth.
Right on.
It's
Just
Right
amazing.
on.
Like every single one of you has grown in these amazing ways. And some of it is your sobriety, but some of it is boundaries or
Yeah.
sharing
Yeah.
things. Like it's all so important.
It
And I
is.
think what makes me most proud is when I see people becoming more self-aware and like, oh, this is why I do this. And it's like that. I mean, you guys just have all you just all make me so proud. Like I didn't have anything to do with it, you did, but
I'm
it just
so
makes
happy to
me
know each and every
proud.
one of you and get to share
Yes,
this journey with you guys. It's
yes,
amazing. I was
yeah,
terrified that I would get blowback, says Plant Freak. That night I was feeling super yuck. It is super yuck when somebody is trying to just, rake right over the coals of, rake your boundaries right over the coals.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is super yuck. That is just yuck. But my friend told me how hard that must have been with that amazing smile helped. Well, good. And you never know what kind of ripple effect that's going to have, Stasia. Next morning I was golden. Yes, indeed. I love it. I love it so
Keep
much.
smiling, Tara.
Yes.
Hi, Lord Chris.
Hey,
Yes,
Lord Q Freak.
hello.
Donna says sometimes we are our hardest critics. Plant Freak, we need to give ourselves some grace. So much
Yeah, when are you
grace.
going to come back on, Tara, as well?
Yeah.
No pressure. No pressure.
I know that feeling. She said up here.
So true, Misha. But he will go through everything else. Okay, thank you, Donna. It is actually 5 easy letters, 3 syllables. Riahi,
Riahi.
right?
Okay,
That'll be awesome.
Riahi.
Riahi. That
Okay.
sounds really good.
Okay, love
That's
that.
why I have to call you
It's a
tomorrow. I
beautiful
can't get the
name.
letters right.
And look at you now, Tara smiling. My ex, my ex would either. So weird. Do they think their hand will get eaten?
Hang on, they never know. My handbag's pretty big, Could always, so.
Oh, my
Yeah.
ex, yeah, as my ex never thought I had privacy, so he routinely went through my things. Get over the trauma of that marriage is an ongoing struggle, I'm sure. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh. Yeah, some things you do get to keep for yourself when you have a, respectful partner, and if you
Mhm.
don't, that's
I,
terrible.
you
I've
know,
I've been
it,
I've had one of those or more.
this is not at all funny, but it is to me because the one thing that my super abusive ex wouldn't do is go through my purse. It's
Okay.
just like, what? So I
Yeah.
have privacy. I don't have privacy on else in anything else except for in my purse.
Oh, wow.
It's because he didn't like ladies' sanitary products.
Oh, uh-huh. Okay. Well,
Ah,
I
there
should have
you
just hung
go.
them over my ears. Look at my new earrings.
oh, oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, Rolling Stone.
Oh,
Mhm.
thank you, Misha. I just seen that.
That'll be good. TK for Life visiting with Steve and Vicky. That'll be good. They can use all the support.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Tara, I also was making a pun because of your name, because it says Tara Smiling. No, I would never tell someone to keep smiling, especially if they're going through a hard time. Just
Right.
keep going. Just get through however you don't have to smile.
Who knows the ripples you've made for the person you showed your boundaries to? Yeah, Misha,
Mm-hmm.
you never know. I made it through. I feel stronger most days. Good. And on the days that you don't, just go easy on yourself. You know.
And setting, we were talking about gratitude journals before. That could be something you could even put in your gratitude journal. You were grateful that you set this boundary in place and you stuck to it. And so maybe, one time when you're having a difficult time, um, thinking, oh, I can't do this or whatever, you can go back and you can look in your gratitude journal and say, on this day, I did this, you know?
Look at you, Misha, with your fancy French words. Chris says. TK for Life, thank you. Give them both love and kisses from all of us, please. Yes, do, please. Please do.
Someone stolen my Steve from my desk. I know who it was. Her name starts with M and she's little.
little human girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to shake it down later. Give me my Steve.
Yes, we miss our Steve. Sometimes the smile is upside down, and that's okay, but I'm always smiling in one form or another. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm smiling. You just can't see it.
Yeah, that let us keep posted, TK for Life, so we can all tune in for that.
Yeah, yes.
Did anyone see my flowers? They're called rainbow roses.
Oh,
They're
they're beautiful.
beautiful.
Yeah, they're in the we're gonna chuck them out section, so I bought them yesterday. I always buy like flowers that are people that won't buy. So I hope there's some more.
I do the same thing. They're called the manager special, and you can go get a beautiful, huge bouquet of flowers for like not even half price sometimes,
Oh, these are
And
just from Coles, so they're like $15 regular. So they're like $7 now. So I'm just like, hopefully there's more today, so I can fill them all out. And
yeah,
then I hang them upside down, and I've got like dried roses all over my house. I love roses;
there
they're my
you
favorite
go.
flower. Can't grow them; I kill them. Roses are where plants come to die. Well, I am where plants come to die.
I was that way for a while too. But
Papa,
we're glad
really,
you're here.
I'm glad you're back. And, I mean, we're good if you need a meeting,
Hmm.
if you got
Yeah.
something on your mind. Yeah.
Always love to see you, pup.
Yeah.
Yes, I felt the same way, Anisha. But you know what? Now I'm just like, I don't care. Well, I don't even know what my face is doing half the time.
Oh, pup groomer.
Resting bee face. I don't know what my
Yeah.
resting bee face actually looks like, but I'm sure.
Well, it's not like I sit in front of the mirror and go, hang on, I'm resting.
Um, so pup groomer, I'm going to skip way ahead. She said, "How do you help someone who just lost a small child to a freak accident?"
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
you can. You just
You
be there.
just be there. There's nothing
I
else.
just don't.
Oh my God. I am so sorry.
That is,
Oh, no, 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 no. Mm.
I can't imagine how that would feel. Like I don't even, yeah.
I
I
guess the
Oh,
best thing I can ever say is don't always be there, because a lot of people turn
mm,
away from that sort of stuff
yeah.
after
Well,
time.
and I've seen something um and where people would like bring groceries over or bring like they do it down south. I mean, I know they do it other places too, but they'll bring like water and paper plates and plastic forks and napkins and food and just show up and give that.
mm,
I that is a long, long,
that's
long
terrible.
road.
Yeah,
I would think my
a never-ending one
man,
too.
yeah,
But
I
Becca,
mean, I
I'm
don't,
so happy to see you. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, maybe even like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess there's just nothing you can do. Just
you
have to
know,
be there.
my aunt and uncle lost my cousin when he was 16. He was hit by a drunk driver on a rural county road, and it took them years. Like
Yeah.
there was nothing that you could say. I mean, the only thing that we as family could do was just be there and take their phone calls and love them and just let them know that they were loved. But it took them forever to get pregnant with Casey. And then when he died, it was like their world just crashed. It was watching that was so hard, you know. Yeah, I think just being there, just listening and loving them and whatever it looks like for you, prayers or offerings, rituals, whatever you
This
do, you know.
this is very good. Pop, I'm so sorry from a Rolling Stone. I think just stay close to them and don't let their grief keep you away. Not saying it would, but that's my only advice. And there may
Mhm.
be some times when they'll tell you they don't want to see anybody, you
Yeah.
know, but yeah, just don't be a stranger. Just be there. It is
I'd
hard no
like to
matter
think
the
that.
age, but so young. Make them dinner. Don't expect them to be anything being on, just things, they need on the daily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Actually,
Send you
speaking
all.
on that, Misha, I think I tested. I went around after this particular last incident. I went around testing my friends, because if they couldn't listen to what I went through, then they're not going to be able to handle what I'm going to have to go through next to deal with the justice of it all. So rather than go now, or go then, then have to go when I'm going to need them the most. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, I just couldn't imagine.
Mhm.
No. Pup Groomer, your support will go a long way. Just please let us know if there's anything we can do to support you. Yes. And or your friend. And Pup Diana, uh,
Donna,
Donna, sorry.
that's
Uh,
all right.
Pup, just love them, listen to them, hug them when they need it. When I was a child, I lost a friend who was 7 to a freak heart attack. I tried to remind her sister how sweet she was. Oh, and Tara's, did I read Tara's? Yeah. Your support will go a long way. Please let us know if there's any. Yeah, I did read that.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry, Pup Groomer. Post that Christy shared months ago also helped me. A lady who was speaking while making lasagna, she spoke of how to handle friends who are grieving. Just thinking and thinking for them. Yeah, because
Mhm.
they're not going to be able to keep a thought straight for a while. Stay a
Mhm.
friend. TK'd for Life says people seem to not know what to say, so they don't say anything and stay away.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Better to sit with and say nothing than to be away and say nothing. And you know,
yeah.
just, sometimes I didn't, like when I lost I've lost not anything quite. There is no comparison. You can't compare. But when I had my loss, there were times when I didn't want to talk to anyone, didn't want anyone to be in the same room as me.
Yeah.
But just knowing that someone was there, that wasn't just me and my kids, but was in the house, was good.
Yeah.
My friend, but I just didn't want them to come into my room.
Yeah. Right on. My friend is the boyfriend to the grandmother. I know the family in general, just from around town, but I told them if they need anything to let me know. And they may not, so you may just have to kind of, yeah.
Just,
People
you
would get,
know,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say one big thing that happens a lot is, and this sounds really silly in some way, get them lots of bottled water. People stop drinking
Yeah,
like water, like fluids.
yeah,
Or their appetite goes. So making sure that they have things like bottled water, peanuts, peanut butter and cracker snacks, uh, meat sticks and cheese, any kind of protein, any little thing like that, because they might not be able to eat a whole huge lasagna meal, but if you bring them bottles of water, like, cases of
snack.
water and meat
Yeah,
sticks and things like that, things that are high in protein, yogurt, stuff like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
um, can, maybe allow him to kind of graze a little bit. I know that was one thing that my mom said. She's like, 'cause my mom's a nurse, and she's like, a lot of times people who are grieving get very dehydrated and malnourished because people are bringing them big food, big meals, but they're not up to eating the big meal. They're not even sometimes up to even putting it in the oven. So
yeah,
that could be something else. Just, maybe even, every so often drop something off.
yeah. Um, Misha says people would get mad because I wouldn't tell them what I needed. I didn't know what I needed, so they would leave
Yeah.
me alone. That hurt the most.
Mhm.
And Chris, Lord Kiss Freak says, listen when they need it most.
Mhm.
Goes a long way. Yeah, Pup Groomer. And he says there are no words, check in often. Pup, there might be a group of parents who lose children that can offer ideas. That's devastating. So much love for them. Yeah, yeah. And also here, TK for like Pup, just keep in mind that it can't be hard to reach out when dealing with that level of grief. Gently offer. Yeah,
Mhm.
it can be. It's been, okay. And Misha says it's been over a year for me now. Still can't think straight, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you would. I
No.
don't know how you would. It's okay to say you don't know what to say. They're just glad they're sharing with you.
Mhm.
It's hard. A friend will understand that it is hard, says Misha. Uh, Let us talk about the child we lost, even if it is overboard. Let us grieve. 100%. Yes. My cousin's baby died, a Rolling Stone says,
Mhm.
22 years ago. It's the most heartbreaking thing. She's had the hardest time of it. It breaks my heart that there are ultimately nothing I can do to make it better except listen. Yes, we forget to cook, clean, breathe. Yeah, I'm afraid they will be left alone. That's why I'm asking.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. People don't know what to do, so they don't do anything. And I can appreciate a clumsy being there.
Yeah.
When it really
Yeah.
counts. Thank you for caring enough to ask, Pup Groomer. If
And
visiting
even the I'm sorry for your losses are better than the nothing.
Mhm. Yeah.
if visiting someone grieving, I'd subtly start cleaning up. Yeah, because other people when they're visiting, they're going to be leaving stuff around and just yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Tara smiling. If I can get this on. Great idea with the easy to eat proteins and water. Yeah. They have a great friend in you, says Misha. And Christy, that's really thoughtful. That's right. Pup, they will probably ask that. I know you're very rural, but if there's a grocery delivery, some snacks, stuff and water, juices like Christy said, and hugs for Misha. Big hugs for Misha. For you, Misha.
Oh, TK for life. That's a good suggestion.
Losing a baby we never really get over. That's a hole that will be there forever. I still remember my second baby's birthday 35 years ago. Oh. All our normal vices, then the nightmares of that loss, ants overcome our entire skin. Hello, Mischief Managed. And Rebecca, I hope you heard me say hello. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
So much loss here. I lost my oldest daughter 15 years ago in an auto accident. She was 23. It utterly destroyed me. Wow. Mischief Managed. I am sorry. If you don't know the 5 stages of grief, learn about them. It helped me so much understanding them. Yeah. And sometimes it's all of them at once. And then other stuff you didn't think about. At first, I was overwhelmed. I still haven't caught up all my notifications. Lots of I'm sorries and what happened, lots of assumptions, many cruel things as well. Then slowly they started leaving. Oh, Misha. Well, we're not going anywhere, honey.
Oh, no, we're here.
Not at all. And thank you for sharing with us. The anniversary of the loss of my little lad is 14 to 15 February. Cosmic. I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
Cats are big.
Yeah. Yeah. Such devastating loss. Sending love to all who have lost someone so dear to you.
Donna, we're so glad you dropped in. We hope to see you
I
again
am
soon.
so glad you did. Thank you. TK for what?
Please don't be sorry.
It's okay. You're okay. You're okay.
No, please don't be sorry. It gives us a chance to speak about to say
Yeah.
our babies.
Yeah.
To talk about our ones, and we don't get to. Well, I don't. Not well.
Yeah.
I do, but not. I don't. But it's great to. You're not great.
I'm so sorry. I know. I just want to hug you. I wish I could.
Yeah, but it's his name was Kim, and yeah. So it's a particular can't words be about.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, Puck Groomer, please don't apologize. This is it's a real thing. And you know what I found? Everything here is so organic. Like, people bring up something and then it gives everybody else an opportunity to share something that they might not have realized they needed to share or have otherwise been able to share, and that can be healing too.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did bring it up. I'm so glad you did, Pup Grimmer. Just having experienced this, and after hearing what happened, they have already been so traumatized. Yeah. And I'm not sorry you brought it up at all.
Yeah, I'm
all.
okay. It's just I didn't. I keep things to certain dates. I didn't realize the date, and it kind of.
It's coming up, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm fine. It's don't. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just. Yeah. So
I
thank you
don't.
for everyone. And
Yeah. I think you should be
yeah,
sorry either, pup groomer.
I don't understand why
And and
being adopted.
Rebecca sends hugs.
Thank you.
I love you
Just
too, pup groomer.
is it being adopted that makes people uncomfortable, or that your daughter was the first person that was related to you by blood? Because I don't know. Maybe I don't think about it the same way as people. But that doesn't. I don't see why that would
Okay.
make people uncomfortable.
Yeah. I agree with Christy.
Yeah.
I think it's I'm so glad that you got to feel that connection.
Yeah.
The first person that I was actually related to by blood. I think that's a beautiful connection. Like to
Yeah.
feel that connection to your child.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you were, well, I don't even know how to say that. Like, hopefully being adopted ended up being a really good thing for
Oh,
you.
talking about the loss. Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, it really
Pup,
does
we're
make
here
people
for you.
uncomfortable.
Sometimes we need to deal with hard stuff. We do. Because hard stuff happens to all of us. Pup groomer, you are showing the love that we don't get to see on that end of things. We know we have friends, but it is helpful to see it in action. So thank you, love. Yeah, Misha. I love you. So mischief managed. That's what you were talking about. I am adopted. I was given up at birth. I had Amanda, my oldest, when I was 22. She was the first person I was actually related to by blood. Sharing these things makes people uncomfortable. It does, but I just think it's so good when we can go ahead and be there for each other. Nobody cries alone here, that's for sure. Yeah. And mischief managed, I am so glad you're here too, right there with Rebecca. No sorry here. We are here for each other for every situation. Because situations happen and we've got to handle them sober. That's what, I mean, we don't have to, but if we can and we can get some support in that, then it's better. It's harder, but it's better. But, in the end it's not harder because you're not putting off the inevitable. Mischief managed, me too. Some people don't understand that feeling, the feeling of truly not belonging until we look in our own baby's eyes. Yeah.
It's profound.
Talking about a loss makes them uncomfortable. It does. But it's okay. I don't mind being uncomfortable, especially for something like that.
Yeah.
Anniversaries and milestones stones can be so challenging, even if we're not aware of them. Yeah. 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 Awakened by the looking glass reflection. Hugs to you, dear. I'm so glad you are here. And Pup Groomer will be back. Cosmic Christie from Misha. I am seasonally depressed, used to tan to help. Okay, anyways, I used to think that was why February 19th to April 13th was always so hard. My kids even noticed until 4/13/15 we all realized why. Okay. My
Actually,
mom's
that's part of
my
it.
mom's baby. My mom's birthday was 2/19. She passed 4/13. Okay. My grand princess was born 4/13/15. I didn't even realize until my step B reminded me. I get it, Cosmic Christie.
People say I'm always strange about dates. It's just that I don't. I'm weird about time, but dates are important to me. So like my kids' birthdays, my birthday, you know, anniversaries and things when things happen. That's how I keep things in line with myself. So
Yeah.
like when I tell stories, I have to do it in a timeline. So if I get interrupted, I have to go back and start the timeline again because
Okay.
I can't keep it in my head. It's just
Yeah.
my own thing. So it's just
Yeah.
like that's why I write things down. Like if I have an important call, I write a script. But it's just like, but dates are important to me,
Yeah.
and I try not to make a big deal out of it. Like right up until, like I try not to make a big deal out of it anyway. But you know, like big deals are big deals, and sometimes
That's right. That's right. It's okay to make a big deal out of a big deal. It is a
Yeah.
big deal.
And Misha, I lost Kieran on the in I was started losing him on, well, it took a couple of weeks, but yeah, I started losing him. I don't know if I can ever tell the story, but it's pretty traumatic. So maybe, but maybe not. But yeah, on the 5th, on the 14th, sorry, so on Valentine's Day in 2015, and yeah, and I gave birth on the 15th. Alone.
Oh, sweetie.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, and then they gave them to me in a bucket.
Oh.
So sorry about that, but
Oh.
yeah. So
It's okay. It's okay. Oh, Christy.
yeah,
They give him to you in a bucket?
yeah,
Oh my
not
gosh.
quite old enough to be classed a stillbirth, and I didn't know. So I had to do some. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. But the thing is, like everyone tells me, I could have sued the hospital and all that sort of stuff. But then I'd probably still be going through the process now, and it's what 9 years later. So, you
Yeah.
know, what would I gain from that other than 9 years of misery to change something that I changed just in a few days by going up there and complaining to the head midwife and the head person saying this should never happen to anybody else again.
Yeah.
And it did. And, you know, they changed it. And I'm not sitting
Good.
here still fighting
Okay.
for some money, which wouldn't change my life anyway. What am I going to do with the
Right.
money?
Right. Doesn't bring the baby back. No.
No. So, but yeah, but they promised I'd never do that again. So, and there's a bit of a tree and all that sort of stuff in his memory and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So, you know, instead of making a big deal and making a big media thing about it, I made it my ripple quietly. But
I hope.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, so we have a health system over here that is sometimes great, but is also sometimes really, 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 really bad, which I think is anywhere. So,
Golly.
but mm,
Rebecca,
sorry
I'm
about
sending you all the love, support, and hugs. I'm so sorry you went through that. I am too.
that. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, Misha. I understand.
So hard, no matter how long it's been. It's always a light a candle and donate to an animal organization. Yeah.
Yeah,
Baby girl, I'm sending you my deepest energies. I'm hugging you spiritually. I'm loving you, loving you, loving you. Yes.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry to have been so. But
No
yeah, that's just
problem.
probably as far as I'll go into that whole thing. But
Okay.
because it was pretty bad, and
Traumatic.
that's the worst of it.
Traumatic.
But yeah, but you know, we all, like I said, you know, there's no Olympics for this. There's no. I asked my son last night. I'm going to try and make things light now because I want him to clean his room. He's 23 and he won't clean his room. And yeah, and he's like, well, that's what depression looks like. And I'm like, have you seen my house? Because my house is spotless right now. It's so tidy. I'm actually bored. because I've got nothing to do. Like before, I would sit around and procrastinate about all the stuff I didn't want to do, and now I'm sitting around going, now I've got actually nothing to do. So now I'm bored because I can't even procrastinate. So, but yeah, but yeah, I was just like, all right, well, you know, this is what ADHD and this is what ADHD looks like, and I've still done it. You know what? As everyone was saying, it's so much easier to clean other people's places because I go to my friend's house to clean, and they all come here to clean. So.
Well, and I want to read this from Misha. Why I'm fighting Baton Rouge. My baby girl will save lives. She will not be forgotten. No, she will
Not at
not.
all. Yeah.
And lots
So I
of
just
love.
wanted to make
Tara
sure.
smiling. Lots of love, cosmic and all. Normal. We are human. Some have forgotten their duties as such. Well, yeah. But some of us still try. Sorry, guys. I delay between the TV and I'm so behind. I'm behind myself. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'll get there when I get there. You do not take that back, Cosmic Christie. We are here for you, love. Cosmic Christie, don't be sorry. We are here for you, and you can share as much or as little as you want. That is the truth. Got to go for a few. I love you all. Love you too, Misha. Sorry, hubby got home. He used to work with the dad, so I had to tell him what happened. Yeah, you did.
I hope everything's all right for, you know, your little family, because it's, you know, there's you know, we talk about ripples, but there's also traumatic ripples that affects,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
communities. This sort of things affects communities.
Yeah, it does. Nobody gets to be the same. So Rebecca wants to know if you want to go to her apartment.
I'll start flying. Although I might go around in circles because this. Hang on, no, it'll be this way. Hang on, hang on, it'll be this like this. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. I fly around in circles, but yeah, no, but yeah, Tara, me too. I'm thankful for support groups like this, peer support groups, because you know the best thing about peer support groups is that, you know, they're peers. We're all people who have been through different things, but you know that we support each other through them. Whereas I've got my therapist today, and he's great and awesome and stuff, and sometimes I just sit there thinking, and I'm like, you've been through nothing, mate. I'm sure. But the thing, I'm sure he has, but different, you know.
Yeah.
And but he also sits, and sometimes I sit there and I think, gosh, he must hear the worst things constantly.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want to tell him half of my stuff. And I'm thinking, actually, I'm going to have to start telling him that stuff so I can start preparing for the rest of everything. And I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, but that's what the thing I love about peer support groups is. It's just that I don't know, there's something that we do that's better sometimes than what we can get from a professional, even though we should all still see our professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, we've seen you grow, the people in our peer support groups, whether that's here or the boat or wherever that is.
Yeah.
And I think it comes different than somebody that you just see once a week for an hour or two. I mean, I totally agree with Cosmic. Please continue therapy. Don't discontinue therapy. It's very important, especially if it's helpful for you and you need medication. Like that's not any of that. But
Yeah.
you know, when it comes to your friend seeing you grow and the trust that gets built, you know, that's the thing, to trust people enough to come on and say, this is what happened or this is what is going on, is definitely really powerful.
Yeah. Just
I'm glad
struggling really bad with fatigue. I'm glad you're okay. Other than that, I'm glad to be here and see you all. I'm glad to see you, Rebecca.
Yeah.
So does anyone else want to talk about anything?
I don't know. do we feel like we've had a meeting, or do we want to? Is there still some
I'm,
processing
I'm,
to do?
I'm good.
Yeah. Oh,
I gotta go try eat my steak dinner. I didn't manage to eat last steak salad. It looks really pretty. I've sent a photo to the group. It looks amazing.
Oh, there you
I'm like,
go.
yeah.
oh my god, this looks so pretty. And then I'm like, no, it took me all night to make it. Now I'm hungry.
Well, hey,
Sounds
I
amazing.
yes, yes, a steak salad. Um,
Okay,
No,
here we go.
that's lovely.
Yeah, Stacia
Thank
says,
you to
random
your friend.
appreciation for my friend. I've been asked to pass on. Thanks for being here for this chick when she needed it most. They're too sweet watching with me tonight. Oh, that's so good.
oh, that's
Can you
Well
awesome.
thank
done.
them for being? Can you thank them for being with you
Yes.
tonight?
Yes.
Because you know,
Thank you for being with our girl. We love
yeah.
Stacia.
Oh, and
At this
pad
point,
thai.
from my food
No.
addiction, I'm no longer. I'm in no danger of running back to drugs. Well, good. That's something. Hell, that's
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if I know people say food addiction is terrible, and I'm not taking anything away from it, and you know there are health risks and all that sort of stuff, but you know I'd like to be addicted to food right now, and I'm not just because I need to eat, and you know, and I'm not, as I said, I'm not taking anything away from anything, and it's just I wish I just like you know how sometimes people can't understand how some people can't
Yeah.
or can get into certain things.
Right.
I just yeah, like you know, some people I don't understand how people can use needles, or some people don't understand how I could drink I don't know a bottle of tequila in a night. Well,
Mhm.
you know, this is a thing where you know different addictions just don't you know I don't understand you know, and I guess some people wouldn't understand the fact that I don't eat for weeks on end.
Yeah,
So,
Well,
yeah,
right. Yeah.
but food addiction is just I just don't I have to watch some stuff about it because I don't get it. I've tried really hard to avoid anything to do with food addictions and eating disorders and all that sort of stuff because you kind of think sometimes the more you learn about it, the worse it makes you.
Hmm.
mm,
Because I felt that way about me and my ASD. I felt I became more autistic the more I learnt about it after I was diagnosed.
mhm,
And I don't think that's actually true. I just think I noticed more that I was autistic.
mhm,
So I'm like, oh, well, that's a trait. That's a trait. That's a trait. Whereas before I'm like, do 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 off my own little airy fairy world, falling
Yeah. Yeah.
mopping the
Having no clue, and that was just fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Whereas now I'm like, well, that's autism, isn't it? That's a little bit autism. So yeah. So, but just sometimes I just feel like the more I know, the worse it makes me.
mhm.
That sounds
You know.
like a good plan, Pup Groomer. Three, and thanks for all the ideas. I'll keep in touch with the family and my friend to the point to look and make with the point to look for things that I can do without them asking. Right on.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. Pub Groomer, they're lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Rebecca. Yeah. I guess. Well, see, I have. I used to be 140 kilos, but that. So I guess in some way, I I don't know how I got there though, if that
Mhm,
makes sense. Like, because one day I sort of woke up and there I was, but that's
mhm,
because I'd always had I guess, body dysmorphia is a thing.
mhm,
Yeah.
So
mhm,
I'd never
It is a
seen
thing.
myself as, yeah, I don't, I never see myself as who I actually am. So, like, even as you can see, I'm not actually looking at forward. I'm looking over
mhm.
here because
Yeah.
that's how I've got things set up, so I don't have to look at myself because I don't look like I do on screen that I do to myself. It's a completely different person as far as I'm concerned.
You said you weighed 140 kilos?
Yes,
I don't know what that
Okay.
yeah,
is.
that's
Uh,
308 pounds.
um, TK for Life says that she's the same way. She says my body ate itself and I have a hard time eating.
yeah. It's yeah, but and I don't know how I got that way, and I think a lot of it was just
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Rebecca says some
So
people medicate themselves with drugs, alcohol, or food. I used to struggle with the not eating, which I have since realized was my not being able to handle food. I still self-medicate with food. Yeah,
and also if you're a carer,
trying
you
to get
tend to
better.
use food. I've found that a lot of people that I know who are carers tend to use food as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the people that are around me, I know they're all getting bariatric surgery stuff because they use food,
Right,
and I just think, well, I'm not sure if that's going to be helpful if you don't deal with the underlying issues of why you use food.
right.
Well, I think food for me, it was control. It was the one thing I could control. I mean, I do think I have a little bit of body dysmorphia. Like I don't see myself as other people see me. But for me, it really was control. It was just being able to control a situation. And for me, when I learned that, that was so helpful. But it's hard because it's food. Like
Yeah, you
you
have
have
to
to
eat
be
One
it.
thing
able to
that,
take
you
basic
can't live
stuff.
without food, water, or oxygen,
Yeah,
Right,
food and
right,
water. So, and when people say, well, just stop, well, how? It's not that easy. It's just like saying,
no,
well, stop drinking water. All right.
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well,
Give me
and
some
yeah,
beer. Jokes, 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 jokes.
right, right. Well, and it's really hard too when you don't eat. People just will sometimes say, "Well, just go eat something." Well, it doesn't work that way. Like there's so much that comes into play. It's really complicated.
Well, it goes either way. And it's just like there's also this whole thing I think body image plays into it as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Would never eat a plate of the huge dinners I would make, would random eat, taste test, etc., feeding other people and making them happy by the injections of love I gave it. I never appreciated the fruits of my own labor. I've known people just like you, Miss Shed, that do that same thing. Rebecca says at one point I didn't eat because I didn't know how to deal with growing up. I started out college at 99 pounds at 5'7". Woo! Now I eat instead of don't eat. Well,
Mhm.
That makes a lot of sense because my daughter, she had food hoarding issues from being um, starved as a child by her father. Um, so she would have been like between the ages of, I don't know, it was 18 months. So she was, I got her back when she was about 6 or so. But yeah, so she's always had a bit of a weird thing about food. She has to hoard. And so I've always made sure I've had a full cupboards, full everything. So she's never had felt the need to hoard or anything. But I used to find mushrooms under everything. I'm like, did these grow here? She's like, no. But yeah, so it's just like, it's just a thing. And it's grown into her adulthood. Whereas now she has this weird thing about food. Whereas, she always feels like she's never going to get enough because she never had enough,
right.
so it's not quite the same as Rebecca, whereas Rebecca wasn't, she felt like she couldn't eat because she was avoiding something, whereas my daughter wasn't able to eat because she was restricted. So, not by me, by a different situation, but it
Right.
was at the time that her brain was forming at such an important time that, it's something that's carried on over that she probably doesn't even know. And Rebecca, like if this happened to you when you were like a teenager, that's also an important time of brain development in your life.
Sure. Yes.
You know,
Working on those underlying issues in therapy. No body dysmorphia, but not eating was a way to avoid my family and then to try not angering my dad. Oh, oh,
yeah. Well, see, that's where I was saying that makes a lot of sense, Rebecca. Food
yeah, it
anxiety,
does.
yeah, because
Nowadays,
I
I
also
don't.
have it steps
Yeah.
as well for my kids.
Wow.
Wow.
Nowadays, I don't have issues like normal eating. I have a man who refuses healthy, craves sugar addiction, but he has such a metabolism. Even with cancer, he stays 185. With cost of food now, healthy food. Yeah, I want to. I want to. Tara had asked if I feel like I'm. Do I consider myself recovered, or am I in recovery? Well, my recovery has been like, here's your straight line, and my recovery's kind of been like this. I joined a cult. I was 16 years in kind of a extreme religion type thing, with the last 10 being in a cult. And when I got out of the cult and moved back to where I'm from, which is where I live now, it was kind of like visiting the scene of a crime, and I wanted to drink again. And I had that to deal with. And right around the time that I was starting these meetings, I was starting to deal with that again. So I know that there are things. I know it's just a symptom of something else going on, and that's always going to be the case. I feel like I'm always going to be recovering from something, which is why I was always doing something, because I didn't want to deal with what I needed to recover from. So I don't know. It just depends on what you consider recovery.
Well, do you ever
I
feel
don't know if
like
that's an
sometimes?
answer or not, but it's the best I got.
Well, do you ever feel like sometimes life is a process and there is no recovering from things? We are just there's just life.
There's just life, and
Like it's just
yeah,
there are certain things I'm not going to recover from. Like there are certain things I'm going to be able to manage and
yeah, yeah. That's it.
cope with.
I guess you could say I manage, and if I
Yeah,
and if I and if I'm starting to kind of feel that craving or whatever, I know that there's something else that I got to deal with.
yeah.
It's
Because for
not
me,
it's
it feels
not
like
bad.
I have to
Yeah,
do so. Like for me, it feels like I'm never going to get away from needing something, and there's always been something in my life where
yeah,
there's been some sort of hyperfixation on something or some sort of addiction to something. Like there was Barbies at one stage, and that lasted all the way to 13. Well, but yeah, but I need something in my life, and alcohol. Addictions are only bad when they cause harm.
yeah,
So as long as I'm not doing anything that I'm causing harm with, then I need to find something that's a healthy addiction, because I'm an addictive personality
yes,
and I
yes,
need to pick up something because it's starting to drive me a little bit insane.
yeah. And that's kind of a dangerous place for you, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm 28 days, well, 29 days now. So, yeah, I didn't want to take away from Rolling Stone.
Ah,
Sorry.
Yes. So,
I love it. I
Rebecca,
love it.
I, I have food anxiety now. I get anxiety for not having a full fridge or a cupboard. Okay. I can see that. I can see where that would be a real anxiety, especially, if eating was a thing that made other people, explode around you. My goodness. What a thing.
Yeah.
On your
Well,
hamburger
yeah.
helper. Awaken says, I have learned that I will never be fully recovered. If I speak of myself as recovering addict, because before I thought I was recovered, after 14 years, I became complacent. So when the house came crashing, yeah, places
Henny
can
on
definitely be a
some.
trigger. Mischief Managed says, if I can get that to show up. And down, okay, when the house came crashing down, where did I run? Come on up here, comment, please. I'm great. Where did I run? Meth. I am grateful that there is no such thing as the meth I used to know. Almost cruel, in my opinion. I can't ever escape it again. Escape again. It doesn't exist, and it is scary. What is there now? Yes. So, oh my gosh, different world, different world. It's definitely
nothing
scary
is what
what's
it
out
used to
there
be.
now for street drugs. I mean, when you can't trust your coke dealer, who can you trust? Just kidding, of course.
Well, the thing is, it's one of the things that Tommy says. You know, your dealers aren't the ones out there trying to harm you.
Right,
So,
right.
but
Cosmic
but
Christie, that
it's
is a really good point. I'm now addicted to fabric and sewing. The hardest part of the fatigue is because I can't sew.
yeah. I just wanted
Oh,
to read what Henny said. Like, I was tortured with food as a young child. If I didn't eat it, I wore it. I got used to wearing it, so the punishment was I ate the same meal until it rotted. To this day, I
ooh.
have a love-hate relationship. Yeah, well,
Oh,
we had to
wow,
do the
Henry.
whole. Yeah, that's freaking what that there is what I would call child abuse.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and that also causes that would cause what I would say long-term traumas around
Mm.
food and eating. But it's
Oh my
something
God.
like it's something that seems to be a generational thing. It's like if you don't eat it, you have to keep eating it until it's gone, until every meal. You know, like I don't agree with that because um, I don't agree with forcing kids to eat things they don't like because that then goes on to create difficulties with eating in
It
future.
does. It does. Yeah.
I
Oh my
just
God.
I just want to say,
I'm
Henny,
so, yeah,
I
Henny.
had okay, I had no idea, but
Didn't either. Wow.
the
I think
things
I
that
think
you
you have said something about it once, and that's terrible.
the
Yeah, no,
things
I
that
keep up with what Henny says, and she is an amazing, strong. Well, sometimes I don't even like saying strong. Some people don't like being thought of as strong, but in my
right,
opinion, strong, just amazing. I love you, Henny.
the things that you have come through in your life are just
Yeah.
Henny, I am sending you so much love. Like
Yeah.
I
Yes. I will always use food depending on how I feel. Luckily, my therapist caught my hidden food issue, so I'm healing. I'm glad.
yeah.
What a thing.
Tomorrow,
Golly.
I had that
Oh,
same thing. We sit and eat until everything was cleared from our plate, and the Brussels sprouts was a thing that made me win the war. So I was about 5, and I sat there at the table until I fell asleep, and everyone else had to do dishes and stuff, and I never got served Brussels sprouts again. But I won. But it's just like, don't make a kid sit. Yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty horrible. Like, I was there the whole night. Like, I'm not eating these little fat balls. But yeah, it was I don't see the point of it. Like with my kids, are like, okay, eat as much as you can. If you don't like it, just leave it on your plate. And if the dog, if dogs don't like it, then I'll chuck it in the bin because I've learned that there's no point keeping leftovers. And if they don't like it, I just won't cook it for them again, and I'll try again later because I have such a weird thing about food, and I was called fat. That's one of the reasons. Oh, yeah, my housemate called me a fat thing the other week. I don't know if I said anything about it, but yeah, and I don't care. He can call me whatever. I can handle names, but don't call me fat because that was what my dad did, and that's why I have body dysmorphia.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and he was just mad, because I was playing music at like 9 o'clock at night the day before a public holiday. I'm like, sorry,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, so
In
I'm
your
just
own
like,
in your own house, by the way.
yeah, I was just there and I was being the mockingbird. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're upset, so I'm playing music. He's like, stop that. I'm like, stop that. And then he stomped off. So, yeah, but it was just like it's just something that it just triggered me to the point like before that I was like in a good mood. But after that I'm like he called me fat and I'm not and I don't care like it's just like I I don't I obviously did care, but it could have come from anyone and it would have hurt.
Hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's I think there's two words the fat and the S word and the the not very nice S word of
The
that
four
says
the four letter one that ends in a T.
yeah about women.
Yeah, I don't like that
Yeah,
word either.
yeah. But everything else I can kind of roll with depending on the context. but those
Yeah.
two, no. And yeah, so it's just, but yeah, it just shows that, you know, if one thing that's said to you in childhood or done to you can still affect you at 45 to the point where you're ready to stab someone in the eye because they called you fat because they're upset about loud music, you know. And like, I was gonna fight him. And he's lucky he left because I was fight him with words. Words are my weapons. But he
Yeah.
would have copped it all night. And he did.
Yeah.
He came back and he was very, very sorry the next day. And I'm like,
Okay.
that's all right. You know, and then I was walking around and, oh yeah, I did all right for someone who's fat.
TK'd for life. Rebecca says, I had that at home too. My mom stopped that when she realized I could hold out through the night and then I had to go to school. Wow.
Oh, you're
There's
tougher than me.
so many good comments here that I'm getting behind on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not even keeping up. Green episode. I've never had another babysitter. We never had babysitters. We had older siblings. Well.
Go lay down.
Oh, look at you.
Mikey.
Henny, you are amazing. That you can be the beautiful, kind person you are, having gone through all of that, shown no mercy, and I feel like you're just the most merciful person I can possibly hope to know. And yeah, you amaze me.
Love you, Henny.
Yeah, Christy, are you okay?
Yeah, it's so hard to hear. It just breaks my heart.
Yeah,
It's just hard to hear. And you know, and the whole being called fat thing, like I get that. And it's just I can't imagine someone treating a child that way.
I can't either.
And what that must have looked like for
Yeah,
you and for all of you. I mean,
yeah,
and you know, it is hard when it comes to food and dealing with food and how you look and things like that. And it's um, you know, that's it, gosh, it just,
Yeah, we know.
you know, and it
Yeah,
never
we
really
know.
goes away, you know,
No, it doesn't, does it?
it never does. Like, you know, you can be just fine and then next thing you know, you're like, oh my goodness, you know, it's like my scale is hidden. Michael actually, when he was home, he took it and he hid it. For all I knew, he burned it when he burned the couch or threw it away. I don't know where it is. It is gone. But you know, it's amazing. Isn't it amazing what triggers us and what sticks with us and what hurts us and
Mhm.
where it comes from and who did it?
Woo, it's so
Like,
intense.
you know, just
You just wonder what people are thinking, they're doing to their kids. What are you thinking?
Well, actually, that's one thing. Henny, I see you too. That's one thing I actually want to talk to Jared about, my housemate, about when he gets home today, because he was mentioning to me that she's skinny. And I'm just like, he was just saying she looks really skinny, is she eating enough at home? It was innocent, perfectly innocent to him. But my head was like, don't mention her. Don't start now. She's perfectly healthy. She looks like an active, perfectly healthy little girl who loves to run and play and run up and down my hallway and drive me insane. And but she looks perfect. Don't start in on you're too skinny now. She's 7.
7? Why is, oh my God. Yeah, you need to have that conversation big time. I hope he listens.
Well, he will, because I'm pretty nice but firm in how I do these things, because as I keep saying, I've been a mum. I'm a
Yeah.
23-year-old veteran mum, and you're a 7-year just into it dad of a
Yeah.
girl. So, you know, don't 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 think you know better. And I'm not saying that I know better. I just do.
Well, no,
So,
but you've been there, and it's and like Christy, like you were saying, I'm 40. How old am I? I'm 46.
I do that all
I'm
the time.
47. I had to think. I'll be 48 on February 12th. And something that was said to me when I was 12 still affects me. It
Yeah.
still affects me. And
Yeah.
it that is so not okay.
Mm-mm. It's not.
Yeah.
Like, and I will never get past it. I will never not battle food. I will never not have the trigger of money because of the abuse that went along with it. And I will never not get completely like really angry if somebody calls me stupid. But it's all like those things are, like you said, you just learn to manage, you know? And some days they just, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm okay. Um,
It's
it just
amazing what
it
triggers things, isn't it?
It
hurts.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
hurts my
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
soul.
sorry. Yeah.
Like,
But it's
Yeah.
actually there was an excellent Simpsons episode, and it was about Marge and Lisa. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, and it was about Marge and Lisa, and it was about how something that Marge said affected Lisa, and it changed, and it was about, she called her chubby or something, and so this word affected Lisa's inner being, and it, like, this word just became this huge thing in her life, and then Marge found out that. Her mum had called her plain, and it was this huge thing and this huge word in her little inner world of loveliness. It's a really excellent show.
Hold
And
on.
then they apologized to each other, and then the words shrunk, but they always were there. So it just showed, and like, it was a really lovely message to show that, you know,
yeah,
things that can be said to you in childhood can affect you into adulthood, and you can heal from them, but they're always the things that cause the pain will always be there. And it was just like, oh my god, I need to share this with the meeting. But I'm like, I don't know how to share Simpsons episodes with the meeting. I'm like, but this is amazing, because it was like, not only was it mother daughter parent trauma, but it was also just like a really good metaphor, or whatever, for like life in general, and it came from The Simpsons. So,
Right.
yeah,
I didn't really pay too much attention to the rest of the episode, just that last little bit,
That
and
one
just what
part.
Lisa was going through. Yeah, and it's just like, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do with Mia, and it's kind of what I've done with my little sisters
Right
and stuff.
on.
I've kind of protected their body image,
yeah,
because mine wasn't. It's like, I'm just like, you leave them alone. They're beautiful, perfect. Stop it. And like, whenever anyone would come near my daughter and say anything about the way she looked, I'd be like, you don't get to comment on how she looks.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, she gets to be happy, and like, she now, the last time I saw her, she thought she was too big, and I said, but you're beautiful, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
as long as you're happy
Right.
and comfortable, I don't care. But I also don't see it, there's
Oh
something
yeah.
that
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm terrible amongst my friends and all that sort of stuff. They ask me if they've lost weight. I'm like, yes.
Well,
Oh
just
yeah, the one thing I always hated, people would the two things, people, when I was a makeup artist, people would be like, guess how old I am? No, never. And or people would come into my clothes and they'd be like, well, guess what size I am? Nope, nope. I Oh gosh.
I
I
can't
would
guess how old people are.
oh
I always be like, 20.
It
I want to say this, TK for life, when you're talking about, the things that you know, the things that happened when you were on dope, there were things my son will never forget and have to deal with. Like we still struggle. Just be present, a present parent now, and he'll be okay.
Terry
You know,
Doodles.
it's
Yeah,
it's
well,
an ongoing thing because it's an ongoing addiction cycle. Then yeah, he wouldn't have a chance to really get over it and deal with it because it would be still be injurious and all that. But now you have a chance to be the parent that he needs, and I really do believe that as long as that's your focus, I'm sure that he will be okay. And when he's at the right age, you'll get to apologize in the way that he can hear it and feel it in his heart, and it will be good. So don't
well,
beat yourself up about that either.
one thing that's been great about my children being older and being adults, more so my son because he's around more, is that they've come to learn that life is not, that I did pretty well for them to be so sheltered from reality of life. They didn't know anything about poverty or, the fact that things cost so much or that rent is a thing or electricity. They didn't know about that sort of stuff, which I think was a bad idea on my part. But because I knew about it so much as a child, I was so involved with the household stuff, worrying about bills. I didn't want my kids to work. I just wanted them to have a childhood.
Yeah.
So, but then it kind of extended too far into the teenagehood. But then also, why should my bills be their problem? So,
You never know, TK for life. He may have seen what you and the dad went through with it, and that may be all that it takes for him to not become an addict. People are raised by nice, wonderful people and have normal, happy childhoods and still become addicts. So,
and
you know,
people can be raised by addicts and not become
that's right.
addicts.
Yeah.
So my sister, well, actually, she wasn't really raised, but she's been around it. But she's got the genetics and all that sort of stuff. So there is an environmental factor. But her dad was an alcoholic, and she isn't an alcoholic.
Right.
Well, I don't even know if I am, but I happen to have a really big problem with drinking.
Yeah.
So and that was one thing I always promised I'd never do.
Right.
When I was coming after I divorced my ex, and I started eating again and was coming off of all of the medications. And TK for life, this is for you. Um, I did something that really traumatized my daughter. I don't know what it was. She won't tell me. Um, I've tried to apologize to her because I know I was not a good mom. I have three biological kids, and I've tried to apologize to all of them for things that happened in that time because I was not okay. I mean, I was not okay. And my oldest said to me, she goes, "You did one thing that really, really scared me." And I think I have sort of an idea maybe what it was. I tried to pick a fist fight with my dad and like beat up my dad
Wow.
who
Wow.
who who had cancer. My dad had terminal stage 4 cancer. And I had two instances where I was going to unalive myself. One very, very clear, and then one, and it was right around this time. And I kind of thought that that probably messed with my oldest daughter pretty good. And I tried to bring it up and I tried to apologize for it. Hold on. You have got to go lay down. I love you, but I'm okay. And, I told her, I said, I know you're going to need therapy and I know you're going to have to go through some stuff. And I'm here whenever you're ready to talk, if I need to explain or apologize. And she said, "You did one thing that really scared me, but I don't ever want to talk about it." And the only thing I could say was, I'm really sorry for whatever it was. Just know that I wasn't okay. And I never really meant to do it. Um, it could be something that he just might not be ready to face. He might not ever be ready to face. But the fact that you said, I'm sorry for this and you've apologized. Um, maybe let that go until he brings it back up, because you might be making the situation worse by continuing to bring it up and apologize, if that makes sense, if what I'm saying is said in a kind way. And I mean, my oldest will never, I'll never know what it was I did. I have, like I said, I have a pretty good idea, like, um, but it wasn't who I was either. And I think she's understood that. So, you don't know what your son is understanding. And so maybe there's more of an understanding there than what you feel there might be. And so just be gentle with yourself about it, would be what I wanted to say.
That makes perfect sense. Good. Um, I have a confession to make. My dog that I yell out to get out of the road did get run over yesterday, right at dusk. I
I'm
don't
so
even know
sorry.
if the car even knew that they hit her. She's very much alive, but she's very injured. And I need to make sure she's going to be able to get into the barn because she got herself out to sit in the sun today. But I really need to make sure that she's where she needs to be for the night.
I was actually just wondering about your animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this morning yelling, and she was in the barn, and I guess Sugar is always in there, and the donkey doesn't seem to bother her. But for some reason, he got a bee in his bonnet and started harassing her, and she had I found her like all the way in the other end of the barn, hiding behind some metal roofing. And so I really need to go see about her. And
Yeah.
if you guys want to continue the meeting, I'll keep it going. But I just really need to go see about her right
I
this.
I think
We can
um
we can go real quick.
yeah, I think we're good. Let's go check her, and we'll just it's been a
It's
it's
been
been
a
a minute.
meeting.
So let's just we'll
Okay.
find out with
I've got,
everybody. And
can I I'm gonna just go look at her real quick.
All right. Can you come back and let us know?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Cool. So as far as, can I just say something, Christy? Because as you were saying that, I was just thinking, as someone who's had something held over her head, me, my whole life, as in, well, I have this thing to tell you, but you're probably never going to find out. I kind of find, I think from my perspective, I think your daughter not telling you what it is. How can you fix it if you don't know what you did wrong?
that's and I asked her, I said, I said, if there's anything I can do to fix it and make it better. I think it's just she's not ready to deal with it yet. Cause see,
Yeah,
my dad was her best friend. Like when my dad passed away, it wrecked her world. She was never the same after that. And I think seeing me ready to fist fight my dad, which never would have happened. Like it never in my wildest dreams that I have fathomed that I would want
yeah,
to throw down with my dad. I think it just for her is so traumatic that I think she's just now coming to terms with her OCD and her anxiety and really learning to manage all of that. Her husband was diagnosed as schizophrenic, so she's
oh
learning to
gosh,
deal with that. And then my grandson is autistic, but he's way high up on the scale. They said, think of
Yeah.
Sheldon Cooper when you think of that. So she's really got a lot. So I kind of, I did kind of push a little bit, but then I was like, you know, she's got so much going on and she's 28 years old. Well, she's 27, she'll be 28. Um, like if it gets to a point where she needs to talk about it, she knows she can come to me.
Okay.
But,
Well, see,
you
she's still
know,
she's still really young.
yeah,
Like,
and she's got so much going on. And so for me, I think it was just it made me feel really bad. I didn't know I had done anything that serious. Like I had thought I had done something serious, but I didn't think it was anything like that serious. And for her to say, I don't want to talk about it is a big deal. So I kind of was like, if you ever want to, I'm here, whatever. I'll apologize, I'll explain, I'll let you scream at me, whatever it is that has to happen. Um, but I,
yeah.
but like I said, that's what I think. I don't know that to be true, but that's near as I can figure. I could be way off base.
I guess
I,
all you can do is just put it aside and wait until she's ready to
yeah.
talk about it. Because,
And
like, I did the same with my mother. It's only been now, really, that I've accepted her for who she is, because I am now realizing that parenting is hard. Doesn't matter if you're present or not present or
it is
step
so
parent or, and, especially if you're a traumatized parent, it's hard, and you've got traumatized kids, doubly hard. Traumatized
yeah,
situation, trauma over trauma over trauma, and
right.
I'm actually starting to get really sick of the word trauma
Yeah.
because there's so much of
Yeah.
it. And
I don't know what else to call it.
well, there's no other word. Like, I was thinking, there's got to be some other word, but there is nothing, because that's what it is. And I guess we have to come and deal with it and face it and confront it, because if we don't confront the fact that there is so much trauma, we're never going to, try and eliminate.
Right.
And like trauma, so much trauma starts from so young.
Mm-hmm.
Some as we've heard in our own little meeting, from infanthood and just continues on and on and on, and we've got to find some way to stop that. And I know it just seems some sort of pipe dream, but if we don't
Right.
stop losing the stigma of that, keep everything a secret and hide.
Yeah. That is so much to like, I remember when my ex started dating, like publicly dating, he used to tell the kids all the time, don't tell your mom, don't tell your mom. And you could just see it on their little faces. And you could just tell that so I told him, I said, listen, if there's ever anything you want to tell me, you can tell me, and I promise that it won't get back to your dad. Like, and they would be like, dad's dating so and so, and then it was like they're really, and it's like, I knew that, but it's like I don't understand asking that of a child. And this is where I feel so inadequate sometimes, to like, it's like all I can do is just listen. I have nothing to add to a conversation. I've got no insight.
What do you mean? You have so much
Well,
insight.
I mean, on some things, but on other things, I'm like, let me cry. I mean, it
But that's
just
all of
is,
us on everything, and that's not to belittle your experience, but that's all of us and everything. I mean, and if we knew everything about everything, I mean, what sort of lives would we have?
right? That would be
If we had experienced everything, I mean, I don't want to experience everything.
no,
You know,
no, me neither. No, there are some things that I am just fine, never, ever, ever understanding.
yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Some things I would like to understand. I would love to know what it's like to be tall. That would be amazing. Can I be tall? you know, without wearing 8-inch heels. I can wear
Yeah.
8-inch heels and
Tall and stable,
Yeah.
without having to fall over. Yeah, but yeah, it's just. But the far as making kids keep secrets thing, I think that's one of the worst things any adult can ask of any child.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell. Don't
No.
tell.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you guys.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's okay. I mean, relatively speaking, I actually had to pick her up and carry her into the barn last night and tonight. But I needed to do it while there was still some daylight, She's
Uh,
okay. I mean,
well, did
Oh,
we
huh?
want to end with some box breathing and a meditation, or did we want to keep going? What do you guys want to? What do you think?
are you okay, Carol?
Yeah,
Breathe?
yeah. It just hurts my heart.
Do you?
The, I mean, I there was nothing I could do to keep her in anywhere. She's Houdini and she gets out of everything. So
Yeah, my
where,
little Houdini's too old to jump the 6-foot fence now, but I had the same issue. So, but
yeah,
what
I
can you
mean, she
do?
could,
And the
thank
amount of
you. I
times
love you
tequila got
too.
out, and people would be like, "Oh, you're so irresponsible." I'm like, "I'm not irresponsible. She's a magic dog. She should be called Houdini."
I'm gonna have to take her, Debbie Doodles. It's the weekend. There's no vet
Yeah,
open.
well, it's Sunday there, isn't it? Because it's Monday morning here.
Yeah, yeah, and yet last night was Saturday night.
Oh gosh, yeah, and like we have like call out
And not
vets
only
here.
that, she's a Pyrenees and she gets car sick. So, I didn't know I didn't want to put her through even more stuff. I just felt like the best thing to do was get her comfortable. I have some doggy carprofen that I've been giving her, and and just letting her rest and and recover her own body, and then when when she was better able to manage. But I mean, it just happened just like right at dusk yesterday, just as I was going out to the barn. I couldn't find her, and she comes walking up the ditch. She got herself up out of the ditch some kind of way, and I just needed to get her comfortable for then. I just I just assessed the situation, and there's she's hurt, and I don't but she's not, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I think you're probably still in a little bit of shock because this is a little bit shocking. Like, and also you don't know what to do. Your hands are tied right now.
Yeah,
So
Well, and especially with it being late
yeah,
on, it
yeah,
it's. I think you did the best that you could do.
yeah,
Give
yeah.
her ibuprofen and making sure she's comfortable and getting her in. Um,
sorry, my
Whew.
real estate's is
you gotta go.
yeah. But well, what do you want to do? Do you want to? We can keep talking if you want some company, or
Um, well, I am gonna have to get out there. I kind of put her in a part of the barn where Jet the donkey can't get to her,
Mhm.
and I got to make sure she's comfortable there. I've got to get her little bed over there and all of her food and water and all that stuff, and then I got to start chores.
yeah, I got to pick up my kid I got to leave, pick up my kid in half an hour. But
Okay,
always here for you, just in case.
thank you, thank
I
you.
have a very needy
uh,
monkey.
he, he can pick up your feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah, she'll be inside tonight, Henny. She'll be in an insulated, almost airtight barn, and Yeah.
All right. Well, so box breathing and meditation, or just box breathing and
We can just do box breathing and end with a love you very much or whatever you guys want to. I don't want to keep anybody from doing anything. Or we can just end whatever we need to do.
I don't feel like I have it to do but if you guys want to do it,
No,
no,
no, no.
we can
Let's
just
no,
go
I mean,
between it.
I may not be able to be here for it, but I can leave it
No,
playing. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's been a longer
no.
than usual meeting at the
We're
moment
good.
anyway,
Yeah,
so we're good.
yeah. So, well,
We love you.
Love you
Mikey and I
too.
said that. Yeah.
Lots of prayers and hope everything's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Love you all. We'll see
Love
you
you too.
tomorrow.
Okay.
Love you. Love everybody. Bye.
Bye. You guys, thank you for understanding. It will, tomorrow's another day, and hopefully we'll have something more figured out by then. All right, and thank you for understanding, and I will see you next meeting, and I love you very much, and I thank you. It was a heavy meeting, but it was a really, really good one. I'm glad that we're here for each other. We've all been through some stuff, haven't we? Oh, well, anyway, I will see you tomorrow. And with much love, peace, y'all.